Good morning, good Monday morning to you. This is November the 28th, 2016, and I'm in Central Texas, USA. It is 10:10 a.m. Central Standard Time. The temperature is 73 degrees, and that's probably going to be the high for the day. The low tonight's supposed to be in the mid 40s, and it'll be like that for the next few days, which is nice. Got sunshine for the next few days, and fixing to go left towards Longhorn Cavern State Park, even though I'm not going there. My name is Rusty. This channel is Rusty78609. A lot of the videos I do are about full-time RVing and or camping in a car, a Toyota Prius. I've got playlists on my home page for RVing and camping in a car, Prius primarily, that's all I've got. And right now I'm on Park Road 4 in Central Texas, USA, going up over the mountain. As we call it here, it's not much of a mountain. It's about 1,240 feet high, a quarter of a mile. But in Central Texas, that is a mountain. Anyway, got a lot of comments. I appreciate it. It's kind of like having a delayed conversation. I post a video and then get feedback, which is okay. That's kind of the way I communicate now anyway, is texting and stuff. Oh, by the way, I'm 71 years old. Don't take any medication. Walk for exercise. Drink plenty of water. Right now I've got some green tea and some dark chocolate almonds, and for you subscribers who've been with me for a while, you know that I say that every day, but 70% of my viewers come from new guys. So, what's on the agenda for today? Well, as I mentioned a few days ago, there was a lady that posted, a subscriber that posted a list of questions, which are good questions. I think the total was 39. And I thought, well, each day I'd bite off a little piece and do a few of them. I may not do them all, but I'll do the ones that I think might make an interesting video, and several of them will. And I appreciate that, because my poor old brain just doesn't seem to come up with a lot of exotic stuff. And I don't have an exotic intro and a lot of fancy microphones and stuff, so I do what's, I guess you'd call it, the basic channel stuff. Anyway, her question was about healthy living. You know, I'm a proponent of healthy living, if you can. I mean, you know, life is full of choices, and why not choose the good stuff? You know what I mean? And if you have some bad habits, you know, how'd you develop the bad habits? Well, you can develop good habits the same way. Repetition. Do it over and over and over and over again, and next thing you know, it's a good habit. But one of her questions said, have I always been health conscious? Answer to that is no, I haven't. Never thought about it. Grew up on a farm in South Texas, and of course we ate basically organic food because we had a garden, and we had cattle, and we had hogs, and we had chickens, and we butchered those for our meats, and that was about as healthy a lifestyle as you could live, I guess. We ate a lot of fried foods. My mother used hog lard. We made our own butter from our own dairy cow milk, and you know, and nowadays people would tell you that's extremely unhealthy, but it didn't seem to bother us. But, you know, and then I guess the follow-up question to that would be, if I wasn't always health conscious, what triggered it? What triggered this move to being a little more aware of my health and trying to take care of myself? And there were a few instances that occurred when I was in my late 20s, after I graduated from college and got into the professional workforce, I guess you'd say. I noticed, of course, a lot of people smoked then. The majority of people did, I believe. because there was no, even, there might have been a warning on, no, I don't think there was, it might have been a warning on the cigarette package, I doubt it. But, and I smoked too. I smoked from age 13 to about age 27. And why did I quit? I have no reason. My wife smoked, my friends smoked. I'd go into bars and they were so full of smoke it looked like it was fixing to rain. But that's the way it was then. You know, that was in the late 60s, early 70s. And that's just the way life was in the USA at that time. But I wasn't health conscious, but I began to become health conscious at that time, about age 27. And that would have been about 1972. I graduated from college at that time. And anyway, two things kind of would be the foundation for that change. One was at that time a book came out by a doctor, and I can't remember his name. A lot of you guys will probably remember it. But I think the name of the book was Aerobics, and it was about, you know, whenever you walk or jog for exercise, how your body processes the oxygen, it goes up, it helps, you know, your body becomes healthier. And a lot of, I read his book, it was about 100 pages long, not very long. And anyway, it interested me. So I was living in Nacogdoches, Texas at that time, or I'd moved there. And I followed his pattern on how to get into jogging. You know, at first you start out walking, and then you walk faster and faster until you're walking a mile under 20 minutes, and then you walk a mile under 18 minutes, and then finally you move up to where you're jogging. Well, I followed that pattern just like it was a recipe for something good to eat. And anyway, for a few years, probably, I'm going to say about 8 years, I jogged. Every morning I'd get up an hour early and go jog for a while. I don't remember. I think I jogged anywhere from 2 to 4 miles, sometimes 5. But it was, you know, whatever I had time for. I was a jogger, but I didn't look forward to getting up and going jogging. But I remembered from the beginning that I didn't mind getting up to go walking. Okay? For some reason, that jogging was work and walking was fun. And I looked forward to the fun thing. So after a few years, I went back to walking, and it's easier on your knees, easier on your hips, easier on your feet. You know, and it is much more enjoyable. You know, I think it's better for your health than jogging. Now, that's just my own opinion. I'm not a doctor, but I know what works for me and what has worked for me. I'm age 71. I mentioned that again. So I started at about age 27, and again, the doctor, I can't remember his name, but the guy wrote the book Aerobics. I read it, and that kind of triggered it. And another big thing was two other individuals that impacted my life at about that same time. One of them was an old man. At that time, he was in his 70s, which I'm in now. But he came to Nacogdoches as a motivator to motivate our salesmen to hopefully sell more automobiles. And he was highly recommended by other dealers who had used him because it had an impact on their sales. And he came, and for a week he was at the dealership every morning at 8 o'clock, and we had a meeting for an hour, and he proceeded to motivate salesmen. But as part of my job, I would go by and pick him up at I think it was a Holiday Inn in Nacogdoches. It was a motel, I don't know what it was. But anyway, on my way into work, I would pick him up and take him to the dealership, because I don't remember anybody having a rent car. We probably could have rented him a car, we didn't. But anyway, I noticed that every morning when I got there, he was either just coming back from jogging, or he would get in the car and say he just got back from a nice jog for about an hour or so. And the guy was extremely motivated. I mean, he was like Zig Ziglar or somebody, you know what I mean? He hell, you were infected by his enthusiasm. And so anyway, that impacted me. I thought, my God, if this guy can do it, he's 50 years older than I am, or whatever it was, I can do it. So and that's the kind of things that motivate people. Now, as far as diet, I don't remember making any changes at that time or in that era. Later on in life, when I turned 49 in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia in July of 1994, and I weighed about 210 pounds, okay? And anyway, when I got out of the Peace Corps, I weighed on the island of Oahu at the Queen's Medical Center, and I weighed 158. Tells you something, doesn't it? But I felt good. I felt energized. I felt active. And at that moment, at age 49, it occurred to me that I did not need to eat near as much as I'd been eating at age 50. And so from that point forward, I was aware of it. Now, I really didn't do anything actively. I don't remember changing much. I know that I went from the 158 back up to 190 in a few years. And here about, I guess it's been about, 7 or 8 years ago, I got on the scales and I weighed like 188 pounds. And I thought, I don't like this. And besides that, my blood pressure wasn't where I wanted it to be. My cholesterol wasn't where I wanted it to be. And my weight certainly wasn't where I wanted it to be. So I decided that what I was going to do was I would eat the same thing. I'd just eat a whole lot less of it. So I just about cut my serving sizes in half for each meal. Started drinking a lot more water. As far as the walking, I stuck with it. I hadn't changed my pattern on my daily walking for approximately an hour. And then I started looking at healthier things to eat, more fruit, more veggies, I don't know what else I've changed, not much. That's primarily it. More fruits and more veggies. And of course I do chia seeds and flax seeds, not much, but do they do anything? Well, they're high in fiber and it helps you stay regular, and I think that's a big thing to weight control. And as far as being a light eater, I am, but I eat. I don't eat big sit-down meals. I mean, I know you could get by with just one meal a day if you wanted to, but I prefer to take that one meal basically and spread it out into 4 pieces. And I have a pretty good breakfast. Breakfast is probably my biggest meal, but it's fruit primarily. In fact, it's blueberries, peaches, strawberries. What else? There's some other stuff, grapes, and of course I put in a little chia and a little flaxseed, and I add some yogurt because yogurt's loaded with protein, and you got to have some protein in your diet. But those are the things I do now. As far as lunch, I might have half a sandwich. Basically, I make a whole sandwich and cut it in half and have one half one day and one half the next day. And then the evening meal, I may have some refried beans rolled up in a tortilla with some avocado and tomato. That's it, while I read a book. And that's it. And I do drink. I drink 3 or 4 beers every day, and I drink about 4 to 6 ounces of wine every evening. It's a red wine. Now I'm into Pinot Noirs, which is okay. I like them. And but again, there's a lot of scientific studies that have been done on mice and humans about eating less and how it impacts or affects longevity. And it's true. I mean, they did a study on mice. They cut their diet by 30%. They gave them 30% less food, and in that group, their lifespan was about 30% longer. That's amazing, but it's true. They did the same thing in humans for a volunteer group, but it only ran for a few months, and they basically did the same thing, but they couldn't determine much about longevity, but they could determine the factors that might affect longevity, like blood pressure, body fat mass, cholesterol, and some other things. And what they found was that if you reduce the human diet by 30%, that blood pressure was dramatically reduced, insulin levels were in balance, cholesterol was favorable, and a lot of other good things happened, and the people felt better, and they also slept better. We are an animal like any other animal, and we don't need to eat as much as we eat. We were brainwashed into 3 meals a day by television and peer pressure. Of course, I grew up on a farm, and we may have needed that at that time because we were working pretty hard outdoors. But as you become an office worker, you don't need but 3 gigantic meals to keep your body going. And all I can say is, as to healthy living, again, I'm 71. I take no medication at all. I haven't, and I never have. I don't even take aspirin. I don't even have any. Another thing I don't have in my house is salt. I don't have any salt because I know that you get enough sodium, which is 40% salt, from just the foods we eat. So you don't need salt. A lot of people, salt is taste. And the reason people add salt to their foods is because it adds a good taste to the food. Eating out at a restaurant, the food tastes good is because it's loaded with salt. Unfortunately, salt is not that great for your body. You do need sodium, of course. You have to have that, but not in such large quantities. So, this is all about just healthy living ideas and thoughts that I've come up with over a period of years, and that was generated. This video has been generated by some questions from a subscriber that she posed, and I appreciate it. But all of you out there, it's pretty simple to develop. Like I started out, it's just as easy to develop a good habit as it is a bad habit. And eating large meals, sit-down meals, is a bad habit. Now, that's in my opinion. Only in my opinion. If you would cut the serving portions in half for each meal, you will feel better, you will sleep better, and your body will be better, and you will live longer because of it. Is that a fact? Yeah, as far as I know it is. You can check it out on Google and see what you think. And it's pretty easy to do. I did it. Hell, if I can do it, I'm no damn mind control freak. It's just as hard for me to change as anybody else. I quit smoking cold turkey after 14 years. Of course, I never did smoke much anyway, but I did, and I did quit, and I never went back to it, period. And I'm glad, because I just saw a guy buy a carton of cigarettes at the store yesterday, and it was $65 for a carton is 10 packs. So that's $6.50 a pack. And I asked him, I said, well, I told him, I used to smoke, and I used to smoke, on a big day, maybe a pack, which was not true. I was exaggerating. I never did smoke that much, but I just wanted to see what he'd say. And he said, I usually smoke about a pack and a half a day. Well, if he smokes a pack and a half a day, that is 45 packs a month, which is 4 cartons or better. So he's spending about 40 or 50 bucks a month just on cigarettes. Anyway, but that's his choice. I don't care. Nothing I can do about it. So anyway, it's $1.68 a gallon here at Walmart for gasoline. And I noticed the snowbirds are coming in because they camp in the parking lot here when they're coming through. And there's one over there in a van with a boat on top. And there's one over here in a pickup camper with pulling a boat. And that's something I've noticed too. The snowbirds come down here and they go fishing. They do. They go fishing out on our lakes and put out little, the gallon jugs and put their name in it and like a little trot line. But the people who live around here, they don't fish. Very few of them. Very, very few. But having said all that happiness, folks, I'm going to pull in here and find me a good parking spot. It's funny how you develop habits like parking. I've got a certain place I park here, and when I go to the grocery store, I've got a certain place I park there. it's just habits, just habits. Is there anything wrong with a habit? If it's a bad habit, it is. But be that as it may, think about healthy living. This is Rusty 78609, Central Texas, USA. Thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, bye-bye, buy USA made when you can. Take deep breaths. Drink plenty of water. Walk for exercise. Stand up and stretch every now and then. You will never regret it. And having said all that, guys, enjoy your Monday. I'm working on it. Adios. Bye-bye.